The Valk Elite. I thought they'd never release this. The Valk Elite is QiYi's first flagship cube with customization. I'll get to that soon, but first let's talk about the cube itself. This cube feels a lot like the Valk because it is very stable, and that is probably the main selling point of the Valk. I'm not sure if it's just as stable because I can't really measure that, but it does feel really similar. And it's also a little bit faster, and it also has better corner cutting. The corner cutting in solves doesn't feel that much better than the Valk, but you can see right here it does reach the higher ranges. The problem is it doesn't corner cut them super easily compared to some other cubes, and we have to talk about why that is. These were the last three cubes in my opinion that were still very stable, and afterwards we kind of moved towards making better corner cutting, and as a result the cubes all got less stable. The Valk Elite doesn't feel so different from the Valk, but I think that's a good thing. Now, one little issue I had at first is it felt so much like the Valk Power, but then I realized that's more just like the friction and the way it sounds kind of feels like it, but the performance is actually more like the Valk. And as you guys know, I hate the Valk Power, and so I'm trying to push that part out of my head. Also, this cube is very quiet. It may be quieter than the Tengyun, I'm not sure, but the Tengyun is a lower pitch. Here, you can judge for yourself. Okay, let's talk about customization. So we have 4 boxes that come in the package, and in box B and A, there are magnets attached to the center caps. So this is a brand new system where instead of magnet attraction between the edge and the corner, there's also one between the edge and the center. So this is how you adjust magnet strength. And for green, this is the weak setting, which actually doesn't include a magnet in there, which means that there's no attraction between the edge and the center, just between the edge and the corner. Then in box A, there are red magnets, which are the stronger ones, and the ones already in the cube are clear or medium magnets. And then there are springs. Again, clear is already in the cube, but we have green and red being strong and green being weak. So in case you don't know what this does, strong springs make the cube slower, less flexible, but more stable. And weak springs are the opposite, so more flexible and faster, but also less stable. So I ended up going with clear springs and clear magnets, although changing the magnets is not a big deal to me. I just think that the clear springs are the best for me. So I think it's great that QiYi has made a customization system as well, although I have some problems with this. One is the center caps are really hard to take out, which is not a problem with the system, just the design of the center caps. Then for springs, this is not a very convenient system as it's basically just color-coded springs in the old system. You still have to remove the screws and switch out the springs, which is just your basic spring swap. And lastly, I don't like having the magnets in the center caps, and that's because when I change the springs, if I want to test how this feels, I'll have to put the center caps back in again. Otherwise, my magnet strength isn't correct anymore. Oh, and lastly, in box D, there are a bunch of cards and logo stickers. All right, check this out. So here's a card, blank on the other side. So with that out of the way, let's talk about how I feel using this cube. When I first started doing solves, I was actually a lot slower on the Valk Elite, and that's kind of expected because I forgot that I had to adapt to a different turning style for this. So I just tried to turn more accurately, rely less on corner cutting, and as a result, I turned a little bit slower, but I also made fewer mistakes. Meanwhile, on something like the GAN XS, which is my main, I can turn faster, use more corner cutting, which makes my algorithms feel more efficient, but I also get more mistakes just because the cube is flimsier. And I don't feel like there's a cube that is super stable and has great corner cutting, so it's just a trade-off you have to make. Now the Valk Elite is really good, and to me it feels like an upgrade over the Valk. It has better corner cutting, you can change its speed more easily to be faster or slower, so I think that's a huge plus. And another thing is it's great that it is so stable because no newer cubes have been this stable. For that reason, I think it definitely has its place on the market. If you've never tried the older cubes that were more stable with worse corner cutting, and you feel like you are an accurate turner, then the Valk Elite could definitely be good for you. Although I do think with the massive price difference, the Valk M may just be a better choice. You don't get to customize it, but it is cheaper and quite similar. So if you want to buy this cube or any cube I mentioned, the link is in the description, and make sure you use the discount code JBURN. And also thank you to SpeedCube Shop for sending me this cube. Alright, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.